January 13, 2020. We have 3 presentations and 1 staff report tonight. So our first is the Employee Engagement Committee year in review. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council. We're very fortunate here at the city to have Employee Engagement Committee, a dedicated group of volunteer employees who help ensure that our organizational culture and activities are at our high standards. So tonight I'm pleased to welcome one of those illustrious members, Ms. Tammy Sewell, who I know will introduce some of the other members here tonight and let her share some of their wonderful activities this year.
Great, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I apologize if my voice is a little hoarse because Chiefs. So
Right?
I was at the game. So
Were you screaming louder at the end or the beginning?
a combination of the two.
Okay.
Yes.
All's well that ends well.
Yes. Council and Mayor, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present to you guys today. My name is Tammy Lindsay, and I'm the Support Services Supervisor in the Water Department, and I also had the privilege of serving as the chair for the 2019 Employee Engagement Committee. The purpose of our committee is to increase engagement all around the organization. And I wanted to share with you the accomplishments that we had in 2019, as well as our goals that we have for the current year. One of our goals last year was to recognize long-term employees with something more than just a pin. When you work somewhere for 20 plus years, that's a pretty big deal. We held our first employee recognition dinner for those employees who hit a milestone anniversary in 2018. Not including committee members, we had 41 employees, leaders, and their guests join us at the Uptown Market for an evening to celebrate their years of service. This year, we will be recognizing milestones from 2019, as well as inviting any retirees that had over 20 years of service. We'll be getting those invitations out shortly, and we hope that you guys can enjoy that event with us as well. In April, we hosted Bring Your Kid to Work Day, and although this event took a lot of planning, there was minimal expense for the committee due to department participation. In total, there were 42 kids who joined us for the 4-hour event. Fire, police, Parks, Rec, Tourism, and Wellness, water pollution control, and the mayor all helped in making this event successful. Each child received a city badge, got to tour a fire truck, had the K-9 unit give a presentation, enjoyed an edible aquifer, did a fitness activity, and learned about native plants. The kids were picked up at noon and had the opportunity to shadow their parents the rest of the day if their parents' job allowed for that. Public Service Recognition Week is held the first full week in May to honor the men and women who serve our nation as federal, state, county, and local government employees. Last year, we did something different each day. A video was sent out thanking employees for their hard work. We made numerous gift baskets and did a citywide drawing for the winners. We supplied cookies for department directors to hand out, and we also gave out new badge reels and lanyards with the new city logo citywide. We finished the week off with a tailgate at the K, where employees had the chance to buy discount tickets to the Royals game. In July, we held our second annual employee picnic. 91 employees and their families joined us at the George Owens Nature Center for games, food, glitter tattoos, and Kona ice. Last year we asked employees to bring new socks to donate to Blair's Foster Socks, and we collected 243 pairs. If there's one thing that many city employees have in common, it's a giving heart. In November, we focused our efforts on collecting items for Drumm Farm's Compass program. The Compass program offers housing and a network of support for young adults ages 17 to 21 who have aged out of the foster system or are homeless. This age group is often forgotten during the holidays, so we challenged employees to purchase hygiene items, comfy socks, and snacks to help fill 18 extra large stockings. The outcome was overwhelming. The water department sold Jean Days and raised $220, and that money was used to purchase 22 $10 Quick Trip gift cards. Public Works raised money by raffling off some holiday decor, and they raised over $200 that was used to purchase any of the hygiene items that we were lacking. Sock 101 donated 500 new pairs of socks that we were able to give Drumm Farm. Multiple employees utilized the Amazon wish list as well as brought in donations to their admins. Overall, we were able to fill those 18 stockings to the brim, as well as donate boxes and boxes of leftover hygiene items. We received this thank you letter today, and we'll be sending it out citywide, and you guys should all have a copy of it. It's kind of neat to see all the, I say kids, young adults' faces as they're opening all their items. The holiday luncheon has always been its own committee, but the Employee Engagement Committee liked to participate in some fashion. This year, we had a cookie eating contest, and only a handful were brave enough to participate. Each had to eat 5 Oreo cookies without using their hands and finish a glass of milk, and the first to complete won. A few of our other accomplishments were offering discount Worlds of Fun day passes for employees, as well as setting up a table at the benefits fair where we serve the continental breakfast to attendees. This year, we are planning to host the second recognition dinner, Bring Your Kid to Work Day. Public Service Recognition Week will also be held, and we're going to move the picnic to that week so that it can be during the day. We feel like we'll have more people attend if it's actually during the workday. Since the picnic is moving to the day, we're going to host an after-work event that employees can attend with their families. We're going to become a more active role in new employee orientation, start a birthday program to recognize employees on their birthdays, and the committee is also going to oversee the holiday party this year. Ultimately, our main goal and objective is to increase the overall morale within the organization and increase engagement all around. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present to you all, and on behalf of myself and the rest of the Engagement Committee, thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the council? Yes?
If I may, I was at the first annual employee recognition dinner. That was a good time.
It turned out really, really good.
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was
we
fun.
had the candy in each of the tables. Everybody had to rotate to get the different varieties.
Yes.
You ought to do that again.
Yeah, I did
We're
like
planning on
I
it.
did like the candy. Like you could take your little container from table to table and fill it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
It was fun.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, they were all great events. I didn't get to them all, but I heard just fantastic things about them, and thank you very much. I know it's a lot of work. They're fun, but even fun things take planning.
It does,
and-
definitely.
And work, so thank you very
Thank you,
much. We're
guys.
looking forward to 2020.
We are as well. Thank you.
Okay, next is a technology update. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council, many years ago, the council made improving our different city softwares and services a priority, and we've been working on a number of different improvements the last several years. So tonight, we've asked Jason Newkirk from our Technology Services Department to come and share an update with the council and with the community on our significant progress in that area.
If we can get the technology to work, right?
That's what makes here, right? All right. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I'm here tonight to give you, like Zach said, a brief technology update. I'm going to highlight some of the things that we've accomplished, as well as some future plans. So one of the things that we've been working on over the last few years, just as an organization, is replacing many of our aging legacy core business applications with more modern applications. And I'm pleased to say tonight that we've successfully converted almost all of our legacy core business applications over to more efficient, better applications. This includes things like municipal court, utility billing, licensing, code enforcement, as also our financial system, as well as HR. Our finance and HR team has been working tremendously hard, and just this last week went live with our payroll system, and they did an amazing job at that. So not on top of gaining these efficiencies through implementing these new applications, we're also able to take advantage of the ability to move some of these things online. So what we've been able to do is identify key areas where we have citizens or businesses interacting with the city. And we've been able to move those to online applications. So currently, just in permits and licensing alone, we have over 1,000 payments that are currently made on the city's website on a monthly basis. And each one of those transactions would have previously been a walk-in transaction, most likely. Someone that comes in has to actually spend time interacting with a staff member to complete whatever it is they're trying to apply for. Now all that's automated. We're also have been able to move many non-payment transactions online. So this is things like scheduling building inspections for that building permit process. All this has really added up to a tremendous amount of staff time savings. And in addition to that, it also improves customer service because people don't have to come into City Hall to get done what they need to get done. One of the other things that we've been working on is an IT assessment. So we partnered with an outside organization to come in and review our technology practices here within the city. As a result, and because of that, we asked them to look at how we're delivering our services and make sure that we're delivering to our employees the best, most efficient way possible, and also that our services are aligning with the Independence for All strategic plan. So as a result of this assessment, we've got a large list of recommendations, and we've started to work through those. Some of those we'll go over, some of the key ones tonight, later on in the presentation. We've also, in an effort to continue to improve our service delivery, we also conducted departmental outreach meetings. So we met with each department and just asked them what we were doing that worked for them and what did not work for them. And as a result of that, we really gained a lot of good insight. We identified a lot of key areas that we were going to be able to actually make real business process changes, and we've implemented a lot of those. So now looking to the future. So one of the recommendations that came out of that IT assessment was that an IT governance committee is formed. So this IT governance committee, they kind of have three jobs. They're to review, take a look at all major IT projects, policies and procedures, take a look at those and then line them up with the strategic plan and ask that question, do these meet the strategic plan? Based on what that answer is, then they're going to make recommendations on priority as well as IT resource dedication to that. So the real goal of this is to make sure that we're maximizing how we're using our technology resources here within the city. And the second group that we're going to be forming is a customer advisory board. So whereas the IT governance committee is kind of strategic, this customer advisory board is going to be made up of employees that are actually using the different technologies. So they're going to be providing us with more granular recommendations about maybe the specific devices that we're using or how specific software is configured. And it's going to provide us a good feedback loop so that we're making sure that what we're doing on a daily basis is actually working for all of the employees. And so next, I'm going to ask Chris Johnson, the IT manager of our network and infrastructure team, to come up and talk about what his team's doing.
All right, good evening, Madam Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Mr. City Manager. Thank you tonight. As Jason said, my name is Chris Johnson. I lead the city's network services team, which is truly a very talented team. We're lucky to have them here. It is my pleasure to report tonight that this team has completed a massive audit of our help desk ticket queue and reduced the number of open tickets by over 75%. We did that in just 30 days by reaching out to customers, making contact, following up on kind of stagnant issues that maybe had not received the attention that they needed previously. And so we've gone a long way with that, and that is helping drive some of the other improvements that we're trying to make in customer service as well. So that's been really big. We've also completed the annual payment card industry data security standard recertification, which ensures that we are not only compliant with government standards, but it also helps us drive fiscal responsibility in that we do not have to pay fees and fines that come with not being compliant, primarily from the banks. So that's been completed for this new year as well. Lastly, we've implemented a new computer hardware supply chain management program that gives us end-to-end control from the procurement process all the way to retirement of that asset. It drives cost efficiencies through improved process, reducing a lot of redundancies and just lack of management in certain areas of that. So we now have full control of that end-to-end process, that life cycle of those assets. So again, driving that responsibility that we need to have. We continue to make progress on several other important initiatives as well. We have retained the services of a top cybersecurity consultant to ensure our network remains postured to protect against the latest cyber threats. If you watch the news, you see there's new threats all the time. City governments, state governments have been a very popular target in 2019, and that is expected to continue in 2020. So we are making sure that we're prepared and ready to face those threats. We are working to further improve our help desk through streamlined processes, automation, and improved resource utilization, all with the goal of improving customer satisfaction. The network services team is also evaluating all aspects of our infrastructure to ensure that we identify, plan, and upgrade systems where efficiencies and enhancements can be effectively implemented. Finally, we are working with the fire department emergency management team to update disaster preparedness and response plans to ensure that our technology systems are ready to continue operating and serving the city in the event of a major event. Thank you for your time. It's my pleasure to introduce Vanessa Kerner, manager of the CityWorks and GIS team.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Vanessa Kerner, IT manager over the CityWorks and GIS team. I'm here this evening to give you a brief update on some of our progress since our inception roughly 2 months ago. Since then, we've launched 3 CityWorks projects. They are right-of-way permits for public works, code enforcement, and landlord-tenant violations for community development. Additionally, for GIS, we have this snow event tracker, and phase 2 of that project is going to be AVL location tracking of our snowplows for citizens to be able to monitor the progress. Our final project that we have already completed is our near map acquisition. It's an imagery product which enables our end users to view up-to-date imagery 2 to 3 times. It's updated 2 to 3 times per year. Next on our list is City Sourced, which is a mobile 311 app for citizen engagement that will be launching within the next couple of weeks. CityWorks projects for dangerous and unsafe buildings will be launching in the next couple of weeks as well. Upcoming tasks for us in CityWorks are launching restaurant inspections, fog inspections, and food handler permits. For GIS, we are looking at addressing improvements for the CIS integration project and data analysis and data improvement projects for both water and WPC. Are there any questions or comments at this time?
Other comments or questions? I don't think so.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Okay, are there any comments or questions for anybody? Are you done?
Yeah, no, I'm done.
You're here to answer questions?
Yeah, I'm here to answer any questions,
Okay.
not just CityWorks
Any
questions.
questions?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I want to say, I mean, we've done a lot of upgrades, and they're so appreciated. I mean, from when, you know, just in the last 5-7 years, we have come a huge long way in implementing technology, which is all done, of course, for the benefit of our citizens and the transparency of our government. But I want to particularly recognize our finance and HR department for successfully rolling out the payroll, and everybody got paid. And I know there were just massive all-nighters pulled to make sure that that happened, and it was like Y2K all over again, waiting to crossing fingers to make sure it went well, and it went extraordinarily well. So Brian, please pass along to your team, you know, all of our appreciation, and just an incredible job. Cybersecurity, Mr. City Manager, I am going to presume that our staff gets regular training on cybersecurity threats. I mean, we got a lot of data coming in and out of here every day. The council hasn't ever received any, to my knowledge, any training, or certainly not recently, and we get a lot of emails. I know that I've received some that look legitimate but aren't, and you know, you have to have a real keen eye to be able to identify those. So could we maybe, I know we've done some different active shooter trainings and some other things. But maybe we could take some time during a open meeting to do some cybersecurity training for the council.
Yeah, we can see what we can pull together
Okay.
for that.
That would be helpful. I mean, we
Yeah.
all, get a lot of,
Jason may already have
Yeah.
something
I,
here.
yes, so,
Yeah?
so we have actually,
do you have
we,
that planned already?
yeah, we've got that plan.
All
So,
right.
yeah, so we've secured some software called Know4. They're an industry leader in cybersecurity training. Basically, they're there to help all the employees, council, identify phishing scams, basically so you're not putting your password in somewhere that you should not be putting your password in, and therefore compromising the network. So we're actually in the very first, I don't want to say the beginning stages. We're about to announce a rollout for that here in the next month.
Okay.
So yes, we're on top of that.
Okay, great. CityWorks, the city manager has informed me that this is a priority for 2020, is to finally complete CityWorks, and I will be so happy the day that we don't have to talk about hear about CityWorks anymore, and it's just rolling, so that's very exciting. I know that's been a lot of work, and my other note is, once again, for I don't know how many years in a row, we were honored with the Digital Cities Award by the Center for Digital Government. I mean, I think it's at least 15 years in a row that we've
17.
17 years in a
Yes.
row that we've won that, and it is because of our IT department. So thank you for continuing to make us look good. We get to go and pick up the plaque and have our picture taken, but it's because of the work that you all do. So we appreciate it very, very much, and it's a great honor. Only 10 cities of our size nationwide get recognized, and we've been recognized 17 straight years. So good work.
Thank you.
Yes?
I just wanted to echo my thanks as well. It seems like over the past few years, we have just leapfrogged maybe 20 or 30 years in technology. And so I really appreciate your expertise and what the department has done and your leadership. It's a constant battle to keep up, and even with the cybersecurity, it's always a constant threat. So I really appreciate what all of you have done, and I know we still have a little ways to go, but my goodness, we've made significant strides over the past 3 to 5 years. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We've done.
Thanks.
So.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, our next presentation is regarding medical marijuana. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council, next week we intend to docket legislation as we continue to refine the rules and regulations around medicinal marijuana dispensaries. Tonight, Tom Scannell will provide a presentation of what that legislation will look like, though it will look eerily familiar to what you've seen before. So here's Mr. Scannell.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Tom Scannell, Community Development Director. As you will recall, the voters of the state of Missouri passed a Constitution amendment to allow patients the access to medical marijuana. There it goes. That Constitution spelled out kind of the time, place, and manner that cities can place regulations on the operation of these medical marijuana facilities. It also stated that these facilities may not be located within 1,000 feet of an existing elementary or secondary school, child care facility, or church. So you probably have seen this chart before, and it was included in the pack, and I apologize for straining the eyes. But this is the next two slides are a comparison of peer communities in the state of Missouri, showing kind of the zoning districts that they allow these medical marijuana uses in, the buffer requirement that they require, whether a special use permit is required, business licensing, as well as some additional requirements. As you can see, the city followed the 1,000 feet from churches, schools, and daycares, and then added a few additional buffer requirements. Some of our peer communities, Blue Springs, Lee Summit, and Springfield, followed the 1,000 feet from churches and schools and daycare. Springfield tweaked theirs a little bit and said that these facilities can be located no closer than 200 feet from a daycare or church. Again, this slide just shows some other peer communities. It's showing Kansas City, Missouri, North Kansas City, as well as Columbia. Little bit of difference here. Columbia just followed the 1,000 feet from the 1,000 feet buffer requirement, whereas KCMO and North Kansas City changed theirs a little bit, calling out 750 feet from schools, 300 feet from churches. So what staff is looking for is kind of the direction, outline 2 potential next steps there. First is to update the ordinance to better follow the Constitution Amendment and DHSS rules. This would involve an amendment to the UDO that would be a public hearing before both the Planning Commission and City Council. Or the other potential next step is leave the ordinance that we have in place, and that was an ordinance that was adopted by Council back in July. With that concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, thank you. Mr. City Manager, this is an ongoing discussion on this council. The council had asked for this to be brought up again this evening. What action, if any, are you expecting from the council this evening?
None tonight, just
Okay.
an awareness that we will be putting this back on the agenda next week after discussion with the council, and wanted to make sure there wasn't any other further direction that you wanted staff to take tonight or in advance of that legislation next week.
Okay. Any discussion? Yes.
Clarification, what specifically will be brought before the council for consideration?
It will be the same ordinance that was voted down late last fall, which put the state's guidelines in place. Tom, I don't remember offhand if that also has the special use provision in it as well.
It still does, yeah.
Still does, okay. So would have the same buffers and guidelines as the state with the special use permit component in there as well.
So, remind me what was originally recommended by the Planning Commission?
On which
Way
ordinance?
back when.
Way back
Way
when.
back when.
When the Planning Commission, this was, they
Okay, so
were
back,
asked to review this. I went through their process, and they brought forward a recommendation to the council that had some zoning recommendations above and beyond. I mean, basically, if you don't adopt some zoning, just to remind everybody, because it's been a long and winding road, if you don't adopt any zoning, then there is none. I mean, the
Correct.
state doesn't provide that. They provide what you can and cannot include in your zoning. And it was recommended to us by the state, or to every city by the state, that you adopt some kind of zoning. Otherwise, you have none, and that means these businesses can locate
in any zoning district.
anywhere they want to.
Correct.
So can you, if you know, can you remind
Yeah.
us what the
So-
Planning Commission recommendation was?
Sure. So the dispensaries are a retail operation, and so those were allowed within our 2 of our commercial zoning districts, C2 and C3. The manufacturing or cultivation were seen as more creating and manufacturing, so those were allowed in our industrial zoning districts. The infused products manufacturing was also seen as as that, so that was also allowed in the industrial districts. And so that's kind of in broad categories, kind of where those different uses were placed.
So then there were amendments, two separate amendments made by the council. One was received, support, and one did not. So my question, Mr. City Manager, is if memory serves me correctly, the addition of the special use permit was amendment that was brought forward by the council. So why are we not going back to the original planning commission recommendation?
We can do that. This was just based on some of the direction we'd previously received from the council.
Okay. I mean, I'm
Certainly, yeah.
curious, if that is,
Yeah,
is that what the council desires? Yeah,
Th-
That's
yeah,
the direction.
That
we're
was my
giving.
understanding,
Okay.
correct, right, uh-huh.
Okay, so, it is a long and winding road. That is a very appropriate description. So, the state constitution says 1,000 feet. We added, not in historic district, we added 2,500 feet, we added 500 feet, and we added a special use permit. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So if we got rid of a
And
special use,
residential and not abutting any residential.
that's the
zone,
500 feet.
Which is everywhere.
That's the 500 feet. So if we got rid of the 500 feet, none in the historic district, got rid of the 2,500 feet, and got rid of the special use permit, we're good with the state constitution, correct?
That gets us in line with the state constitution, correct?
And what are we seeing next week?
You want to speak to
It
that?
includes a special use permit, which is not in the state constitution.
see next week.
Correct.
But it gets rid of the 500, no historic
Yes.
district. Okay, so the only problem in my simple mind is a special use permit. Okay.
Yeah.
If I can add to that, I think it's up to us what we decide, what we want to see next week. So I would like to see some of the items in the special use permit section, and that's why I was wanting to see some of those. They're not in here tonight, but I think one of them is listed on the Columbia's request to submit a security plan, alarm plan. I think that was one of our special use permit items. So I would like to just see those rolled into some of the requirements like some of the other cities have done, and that let's not have a special use permit. There's not any separate permitting done once they meet the requirements. But let's simplify everything and do away with a special use permit, because that's just another hoop to jump through, another problem potentially with the state constitution. So I think in my personal opinion, that's the best way to go. Roll some of those requirements from the special use permit into our requirements and do away with it. And let's go back to the 1,000 feet.
Mr. City Manager?
Well,
you look like
I'm
you have something
just-
you want to say.
I was consulting with the city attorney, and we don't, this has been a long and winding road. We think the Columbia stuff was wrapped into their business license, not through their special use permit, so.
Well, it says that they do not
Yeah.
require a special use permit,
Yeah.
that there are additional requirements,
Additional requirements.
limits, just so
But it doesn't have to be in zoning, is what
the citizens hear this, what Councilmember Robertson is referring to is the city of Columbia does not require a special use permit. Everybody requires a business license.
Yeah.
But there are additional requirements for the business license process, is they must submit a security plan, alarm plan, secure safe for storage, like a safe, lighting, operation and management plan, and emergency response plan.
Yeah. The rest of it is not
Right.
part of ours, but,
And then
yeah.
there are some other applications regarding a committee to review applications, and 4 weeks of public advertising. So I think that is a way, because some real concerns have been expressed by council members and citizens about the fact that this is a cash-only business, and some security risks that may come with that, and where they might be located because of the nature of our city, that we do have some commercial zoning that is very close, embedded in neighborhoods. So that is I think, legitimate concern. But I think that Columbia has found a good way to potentially address those without creating an additional undue burden of having to go through the special use permit process, which is more, costly and time consuming than simply making that a requirement of the business license. So that may be a very, a way to achieve our goals and still be in line with Constitution. Madam City Attorney.
Certainly. Just to clarify, are you talking about building those things into the zoning portion or having those affiliated with the business license? Because I think they're good points, and they could be handled either way, couldn't they, Tom?
Correct.
Just put it into the business license.
I mean, that makes sense
that
because
makes
it's more, it goes to the operation of the business. So that's something we could look at. That would be at a later date, though, probably not in affiliation with the recommended zoning ordinance changes, though.
So can we bring forward, I guess we can do whatever we want. Is it the desire of the council to bring forward, we're looking at two separate things for consideration. One is zoning and one is business license. And does the business license require, does that require council approval, Mr. City Manager, to add those restrictions or those requirements to the business license? Yes. Does that need to go to the Planning Commission before it comes to the council?
No, that
Okay.
just comes straight to the city council.
So, and please correct me if I'm misstating this. I think we're asking for two different things, or I guess potentially three, if there's anybody who still wants to consider the special use permit. So, any thoughts?
I think we can get rid of the special use permit, the 500 feet, the 2,500 feet, the no historic district zoning, and then also bring forward a separate business license permit amendment. And I think that clears everything up. And that's what I would absolutely support next week.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Thank you. This takes us to our boards and commissions reports. We have three this evening. The first is for the Human Relations Commission. There's the recommendation by the Council Interview Committee, which consists of myself, Councilmember DeLucy, and Councilmember Doherty, to reappoint Mike Kopic and Cheryl Frank, and appoint Gary Wanamaker, who has been recommended by the Human Relations Commission. Is there any comment or question? If there is no objection, we will move this forward to the next council agenda. Okay, hearing none. Brand Independence Committee, Councilmember Huff is recommending Nancy Kerr as his councilmember appointment. Is there any objection? Okay, we will move that forward to the next council agenda. And then there was a vacancy on the Board of Building and Engineering Appeals. That is a mayor appointment, and I am recommending appointment of Thomas Singleton. If there's no objection, we'll move that forward to the next council meeting. As always, we are eager for citizens to volunteer to be considered for boards and commissions. You'll note that many of them don't have vacancies on them currently, but I would encourage you, if there's one you're interested in, please go ahead and apply for it anyway, because vacancies do come up, and in some cases, certainly the council might consider expanding boards, the number of people on boards of commissions if there's overwhelming interest. We have done that certainly in the past. The city clerk has been working with our Diversity and Inclusion Task Force to update our application. We are certainly always looking to increase diversity in our boards and commissions as representative bodies of our community. So a couple of our members of that committee are here this evening, and want to thank them for their work. It's, that's also been a technology upgrade that we've been working on for quite some time, is to make that application a little bit more user-friendly on our website and on mobile devices. So that is all this evening. Mr. City Manager, is it going to be the Tigers or the Tigers?
We think the Tigers will win tonight.
Okay. Just wanted to
Safe
check.
bet.
Okay. Anything else this evening?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, we're adjourned.